Deputy Speaker. Well, the cost of living is something that is affecting all Australians. And in many ways, Australians really face the brunt of the cost of living crisis, because after 10 years of neglect, the cost of living has been driven up. After 10 years of doing nothing on supermarkets, nothing on supply chains, the cost of living for Australian groceries has only increased. In fact, Australians now pay among the highest grocery prices in the world. The average price of groceries in Australia is 54% higher than it is in other countries around the world. And that's because those opposite did nothing for 10 years, nothing to break down the monopolies and the lack of competition that exist in every single layer of Australian supply chains. And that is why, Deputy Speaker, we have a government now that is finally taking the cost of living seriously. That's right. Yeah. A government that has finally decided to launch an ACCC investigation into price gouging in the supermarket sector. Right. A government that has decided to appoint Craig Emerson to make sure that small Australian suppliers are not being taken advantage of. Right. A government that has appointed Choice, the consumer group, to crunch the data and show us which are the supermarkets that are charging the most and which are the ones that are most reasonably priced. This is a government that is taking this issue seriously. And what we have over there is a group that did nothing, and over there a group that has stupid ideas for what to do about this issue. They're suggesting divestment, Deputy Speaker. Divestment. Now, this is a competition of the most half-baked idea you could come up to a very serious problem. If the Greens want to be a serious political party, want to talk about economic issues, then they need to lift the quality of the ideas they're putting forward. Because suggesting that we should Soviet-style split up the supermarkets, chop them in half as if that's easy to do, is completely impractical. It's not done anywhere else in the world, and it wouldn't be done here. Moreover, there's no evidence that would actually reduce prices in the supermarkets. 2 supply chains, 2 headquarters. That could increase the costs in our supermarket supply chains and ultimately mean that consumers pay higher prices. On issue after issue, Deputy Speaker, the Greens have cost of living ideas that don't pass the pub test. They haven't been fully thought through. And we know the strategy of the Australian Greens, Deputy Speaker, is to shift into being a party that is a party not just of climate and environment, but a party of economics. They want to talk about cost of living. They want to talk about HECS. They want to talk about supermarkets. They want to talk about rents. But they actually have no solutions to those problems that would not make them worse. All of their solutions in housing would actually make the housing situation worse by reducing supply rather than increasing it. Their spending proposals would make the HECS indexation worse, not better, by driving up inflation. Their proposals in supermarkets would lift the cost of Australian groceries, not drop them. Deputy Speaker, it's one thing to spot an issue that matters to the Australian people. It's one thing to express empathy to those people, but it's another thing to propose solutions that actually work and make a difference for those people. And for the last 10 years, the Labor Party has been the only ones proposing ideas that will actually work. We've been stuck in the middle, clowns to one side, jokers to the left. The clowns there did nothing, and the jokers have silly policies that simply wouldn't work. Deputy Speaker, the cost of living is an issue that is affecting so many Australians, and that is why the Labor Party is working methodically on issue after issue to ensure that we make a difference, without making the underlying challenge of rising inflation worse. So for the Greens to come up, present themselves as a party of economics, a party that can put forward proposals in all of these areas, actually just doesn't pass the pub test of sensible ideas, ideas that Australians can grab onto and realise will make a difference. And that's why, Deputy Speaker, their aspirations to be a party that appeals to the centre, a party that appeals to Australians with aspiration to go beyond their traditional voter base, are simply not working. Deputy Speaker, we're very proud to be a government that is making a difference on these issues, a government that has put in place a whole range of cost of living measures that will help people at the checkout, help people when they're buying help people when they're buying medicines, help people with cheaper childcare, help people with lower costs on their TAFE. On issue after issue, The Albanese government is working. We've had no solutions from either of those sides opposite. Thank you.